Now we're streaming live as my left eye is crooked.
Rest in peace, left eye.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
Right?
Was it a car accident? Sad.
Yeah, some sort of accident.
Now we're recording audio. And now I'll press this button and start the show. Hello, Tim. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Nothing, just holding on to a Ortho Tricycline branded USB hub. Pretty cool, I think.
Probably better than my
Yeah,
piece
you
of junk.
you might need this. I might fucking help you out.
Yeah.
Ortho Tricycline for PC, Mac, and notebook use. Oh wait, sorry, Tim. For Mac and Windows 98/ME/2000/XP. So might be a little out of date, but
A little beyond that.
what can you do? What's Windows up to these days? I'm a Mac guy, so I wouldn't know.
Windows 11. I mean, 10's still very much relevant,
Yeah.
but yeah, 11's the latest.
Are people like, this sucks?
Not yet, or at least I don't really see that complaining from, I don't know, social media I look at and stuff, and even just at the workplace. Like, I don't know, it really isn't that different from 10.
Right.
It just looks prettier. That's really it.
Nobody's like, it's not a Windows ME situation where people are in the streets revolting, trying to get to Bill Gates inside of his personal home.
Totally. And I had ME. That was a piece of shit.
I had ME too, but I used the computer for such low-level things I don't think I would notice. You know what I mean? I just used the home PC to jump on AIM and check out some sites like eBaum's World. So I wasn't really, the didn't affect me much. As long as I could get online with our dial-up internet, that's all I cared about. Until I finally convinced my parents to get cable internet, so I stopped feeling like a damn fool.
Yeah, I think ME is what came on the computer I took to college.
Yeah.
like
Definitely came on our Sony Vaio for sure.
Yeah, mine was like an HP Pavilion.
Beautiful.
With like, a big tube monitor.
Yeah.
But it was like decent for what I was using it for at college, and it played all the video games I was playing. Initially I was tripled in a double room, and eventually I had like this big blowout with one of the guys.
Wait, there was 3 of you in a room made for 2?
Yes.
The fuck was that like? You got a bunk bed up in that bitch?
Literally a bunk bed. I had 2 drawers worth of clothes. That was it.
Ugh.
I honestly, like, they also said like you're going to be tripled initially, but then as like just the semester plays out, like we'll find room for everybody and you will be de-tripled, as they called it. And I kind of got put to the front of the list because there was just like this big blowout.
Tell me about this. I gotta hear about this story. A story about Tim I don't know. Very exciting.
Right off the bat, I always feel like I take over this podcast with some random ass story.
I love learning about you, Tim. You're full of surprises.
So I did go to college right out of high school. Went to Bloomsburg. Was one of the only schools that accepted me. I got rejected pretty much everywhere.
Ouch.
But yeah, so it was known that Bloomsburg was like overpopulated. So like most
They
people
were just taking anybody. Just come on in.
Well, I think it was probably like, so this is 2001,
Yeah.
and this is probably the beginning of just all universities being overrun, because like it's when we're in the heart of like, if you don't go to college, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And it's still at the point where it's like expensive, but not what it is today, which is absurd.
Yeah.
Anyway, and the state school system in particular, like it was still very, very affordable. So I think there was a lot of people like me who were like decent students getting rejected at these like 40K a year schools,
Yeah.
and they're like, all right, I guess I got to go to my backup.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking about college is like a whole discussion I guess we could have. But so anyway, it's my freshman year. I get like a notification in the mail of like my roommates, and it's this dude, Kevin Maloney and Rick DeJesus, and they both
He pronounced it to Jesus, not de Jesus.
it might have been De Jesus. I looked at it though. I wasn't very
Yeah.
Spanish savvy at
Yeah.
that point in my life, so I'm like Rick DeJesus, cool name. But they both went to Neshaminy High School and were like tight.
Oh, fuck that.
I didn't mind it initially. So anyway, we go in to this dorm. It's a double, but there's three of us. Yeah, and the one guy, Kevin, he was a douche. Like he just he like kind of took over the closet. Like he just kind of he took over most of the room, and it was very not like forthcoming.
Yeah.
And just trying to like make things work in a bad situation, you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, a dorm room's already tiny to begin with, even for two people, let alone three.
Right. Three stinky boys. Yuck.
Yeah. Rick was cool as hell. Like he was like he was a very boisterous, but not in a cocky way. He just like he was a cool dude. I really liked Rick, but Kevin was a piece of shit. There was just one night, like he was like a big partier right off the bat, which this is what I appreciated about them being my roommates is that they knew a lot of people at Bloomsburg. I don't know how.
Nice. Yeah.
They just did. So like I would kind of tag along with them and go to these parties and stuff, and I met a shitload of people through them. Cool.
Right. Awesome.
You know? But Kevin was a piece of shit. Like he was just like partying way too much. He was like coming home fucked up a lot.
Yeah.
And he just like he would habitually never bring his keys with him for some reason.
Ugh.
And I'd be like, "Can you bring your keys? Because I kind of want to lock the door when none of us are here."
Yeah.
And he just like refused to do it. So one night, it wasn't even me. Like the rest of in the dorm I was at Bloomsburg, it was Northumberland Hall. That all the dorms were named after counties that were in the surrounding area, and Northumberland was like the smallest. So it was not to brag. I thought it was the coolest dorm because like everybody knew everybody, and the first week of the semester it was like an open door policy where at all times if you're in your room like have your door open so people can be social. We extended that. That was just a thing. Like that wasn't just the first week of school. We had our doors open all the time.
Yeah.
And I love that about that. And people would walk in and out of each other's rooms all the time, just like, hey, what's going on in here? Oh, you're playing SSX Tricky? Can I like, watch? You know? And you made friends that way. It was so cool.
Yeah.
So this one night that like Kevin's out getting fucked up. Rick he's not with him. But he's also out. So I like went next door to like, you know, another dorm room just to hang out. And I think we were watching a movie, like a bunch of us. And they all knew Kevin was a piece of shit. And
Nobody liked Kevin. It was
no one liked
widely known that Kevin sucks.
Totally. Yeah. And they knew this thing with his keys. They're like, dude, let's go lock your door. And I think one of my friends, so we locked my door, but I think one of my friends also performed a leaner where like they leaned a like glass of water against the door. So when he finally opened it, it would just like dump water all over it. And this is my own dorm room. And that's how much I didn't give a shit. Cause I didn't have space in there. Anyway, so he comes home like annihilated, doesn't have his keys. You can hear him in the hallway, like bitching about it. I think he had to go get the, what's like the hall, like
RA,
there
resident
it is.
advisor.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Had to grab her to like open the door. He gets in, the leaner falls. So now he's drunk. You know, he was already pissed. Now the leaner happens, and now he just like loses his shit. And he's just screaming and yelling in our room. The lights aren't even on. And he's like, you know, and he's just bitching. Like, I can't even remember exactly what he's saying, but it's just like this crazy rant. And he's so loud that the entire wing is now out of their doors, just like looking down at our room, like, what the fuck is happening down there? And then he kind of ends this rant with, like, and you, how many fucking times do I gotta tell you to not lock this fucking door? And the door was fucking locked. And he's just like
Oh,
going off. And like, by the time, once like the second he was done his rant, I was just like, well, why don't you just remember your keys?
yeah.
And then that set him off even more. And people like had to get in between him and me because, like, not like I was trying to fight him or anything, but then he
Right.
was kind of
He was
trying to
out
be
of
like,
control. Yeah.
yes. And it was like the next day or two when I got pulled into some faculty office to be like, okay, you're being de-tripled.
Mm,
And
thanks.
I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's when I moved, like, I stayed within Northumberland, which was great. I
Mm,
just went like to the second floor as opposed to the first or something like that, and
yeah.
like down the hall. And that's when I moved in with Andrew Lopez, which I wish I could reconnect with him because I love that guy.
No connection. Oh, you're not on Facebook.
Yeah, I could probably connect with him there. That'd be the only
Andrew
place.
Lopez, if you're watching this or listening, hit Tim up. He misses you.
Good dude. Like, I think only person in his family that went to college kind of guy.
Mm,
He was super into techno, and that's
hell
like what.
yeah.
And initially, he would like play it really loud while he was studying, and I was a little off put by it. But then I was like, okay, this is gonna happen. I need to like accept this. And then I actually got into techno music with him,
Nice.
and he only had a TV in his room. That was it as far as technology. And then I came in with my computer, and he kind of like took over my computer and was like playing video games all the time. And I was a little resentful at first because I was like,
Mm,
well, I want to play video games.
yeah.
But then I would just watch him play, and he was pretty good at them. It was like it was. I do cherish like those little moments in college, and I can even go back to them now and be like, those are the first signs of me realizing that being outside of your comfort zone is a fucking good thing,
Yes.
you know. And Andrew Lopez taught me a lot about that.
Yeah. I wish I would have done that more. I was such a coward. I commuted to school. It was basically 13th grade when I went to Newman. But and I was only there for a semester. But just last week, went over my friend Jim's house and hung out with my friend Jim and Kevin and Justin, and these are all the three friends I have from that one semester, and it's what fucking that was 2005.
Hmm.
So that's almost 20 years later, you know what I mean? And we're still friends. So I didn't get much out of college besides a lot of anxiety and stress and a lot of lying to my parents and
Yeah.
stuff like this. But I did get some very good friends that I'm still friends with to this day. So that's always a positive when I'm being hard on myself for how bad I fucked up and how much I failed. I was like, you know what? There was some good to come out of it.
It's funny that whole drama that was going on in my dorm room that first semester. I mean, that was my best semester at school, so maybe I didn't even realize that it was keeping me out of my room and just like in common areas or at the library to just study and
Yeah,
do what I was
yeah.
supposed to do while at college.
Shocking. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
how long did you stay there? And let me ask you this: after the that incident, did you run into either of your old roommates anymore? Or was there enough people there that you kind of just lost touch completely?
We would, I mean, like I said, it was a small dorm, so yeah, we
Yeah,
would still see each other and we would just be cordial, you
yeah.
know. No like reconciliation ever happened, like
No,
no real apology or anything.
no.
But we were both smokers, so like that was a whole social thing out in the smokers pit,
Hell yeah.
out front of the dorm. So like, you know, I'd see Kevin out there, you know, we bullshit. But yeah, we wouldn't go to like parties anymore.
No.
And
It's good that everyone else hated him too.
yeah,
Because have you ever been in the situation, like at a job or school or something, where it's like, this dude sucks. I hate him. but everyone seems to like. He's got everyone fucking fooled. I know he sucks. He's a piece of shit, but everyone's like, "Oh, he's so cool," and that's the fucking worst. You know what I mean? It's like
I
then
guess
you're
the
alone.
yeah the only I can't even think of one in particular, but that would happen with bar regulars every once in a while. There'd be one that was
Yeah,
worshipped, and I'd be like, "This guy fucking
this
sucks. Why do
dude
you like this
sucks.
guy?"
Yeah, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, no,
But
but
yeah,
how long did you stay at school?
3 semesters.
Damn.
So yeah, that first semester, and then the second semester, I was still in that dorm room with Andrew Lopez. Then the third semester, we moved up to, it was like called Upper Campus, and they had like college owned, but they were apartments.
Yeah.
And we moved in with two other dudes, so it was four of us. Still, one of them was Andrew Lopez, and that was the first time I'd witnessed. Like I'd always heard about kids that like didn't know how to study for a test, or like, or maybe both. Like they didn't know how to study for a test, but also in particular they were bad at taking tests, bad test takers.
Right.
Because I remember watching he and this girl that were in the same class
Hmm.
study together for like a week straight for an upcoming test. She got an A and he got a D.
Yeah.
So like they studied all the same material together, and he completely shit the bed when it came to the test. So I was like, "Oh, so this is a thing."
I don't know how to study. I don't think I was taught how to study. Like studying to me is like, what do I sit with a textbook in front of me like I'm in a cartoon and just read the whole text. Like I don't understand how to study. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Now I think I would just do flashcards or something if I had to study something. But yeah, um,
I think that's what high school's supposed to do, you know? Like
yeah.
and you know, our education system sucks, but
It's all now. All it is teaching you, like just preparing you for a standardized test.
yeah. I mean, and that was even a part of it when we were there, like
Yeah,
preparing
dude.
you for the SATs.
The PSSAs, the cat. I
Yep.
remember all that shit.
But just like you're saying, like flashcards have never been a thing for me. But I know they work for other people. So I feel like that was something that was supposed to be part of high school where it's like, here's a smattering of study
Technique.
strategies. Yeah.
I think if I would have in third grade or whatever, when we started times tables or
Hmm.
fourth, if I would have not been lazy and made flashcards of my times tables, I would have them memorized now and I would be much smarter. But I still do multiplication like I did it back then, which is like fucking adding, like it takes me way too long. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not, like if I just had times tables memorized, I'd be a genius. But I'm just a lowly moron that doesn't know
Eight
uh
times three.
8 times 3. This is how I'll do it. 8, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 24. You know what I mean?
Got
It's
it.
like, it sucks.
You got there just a little
Yeah.
later than most
This
people.
takes me a while, but I'll get there. You know, maybe I should just start doing flashcards now. Why did I give up on myself? I could become a genius still. I still have time. I still have elasticity in my brain.
Or start making them for your son for, you know, ABCs or
Ah.
something. I don't know.
Oh yeah. No, he's too young.
Yeah.
It'd be a waste of time. But anyway, how are you, Tim? I haven't talked to you in a while. How was your Thanksgiving?
Good. So Kat's sister, the one that lives only like 2 or 3 blocks away,
Mm-hmm.
she's been hosting for the past almost decade now.
Shit.
So now, like this year was the first time we were able to just like walk on over there. Well, actually, my parents came over first, so my parents are invited too, and they've been coming for the past however long as well. So they came to my place first, and we had a bunch of shit to like bring over.
Mm-hmm.
So we literally did drive over, but it was only a couple blocks. So my parents and I all went over together.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, hung out, ate some food, bullshit. My dad, you know, my dad's such a storyteller. Maybe that's why I go off on these riffs.
Mm.
But somehow I don't think so. Kat's sister's husband, so my brother in law,
Yeah.
Ray, he somehow didn't know my dad was in Vietnam. So like the second he learned that information, the floodgates opened.
Oh hell yeah.
And then it was like Tom Parker story time.
Yes.
And I was like in the other room just watching football,
Mhm.
just minding my own business. But then like after about 20 minutes, I was like, are they still listening to him? Can I go intervene?
Everyone wants to hear about Nam.
But yeah, other than that, pretty low key.
Yeah.
We went to this big nerd convention on Saturday for tabletop RPGs.
Yes. What was it
That
called? PAX or something?
Yep, it was at the Philly Convention Center, and I'm almost positive I got a sickness there because from Sunday until yesterday I was like not great. So
Yeah.
like these are this beer tastes great because I haven't had a beer in like that amount of time. I was like I don't want to risk it. I feel awful.
I'm certain you got sick there. There's
Yeah.
probably a lot of bodies in there, huh?
It was the first time I'd ever been, and that's one of the learning notes is I now know like kind of where to go and navigate and kind of what events that are happening that I want to hit. And furthermore, I'm gonna wear a fucking mask next year.
Yeah, and maybe bring some hand sannies. You know what I
That,
mean?
yep, for sure.
But no, that's fun. I saw you went there. Was PAX, was that a TV channel? Do you remember?
I don't remember that. No,
Hmm. I'm gonna look it up because I need to know. I'm sorry.
I honestly don't even know what PAX stands for the tabletop RPG event.
Yeah, who the fuck knows? But uh it used to be, yeah, it's now Ion Television. It used to be PAX TV. And I feel like Jag was on there all the time. If you remember the show
Jag.
Jag. I never really watched Jag. I was never interested, but it was definitely on PAX often.
Yeah, that was like the Air Force show, right?
Something, or like Navy Court or something. I don't
Oh,
fucking
right.
know.
That's what it stands for. It's like justice. I don't know.
What does JAG stand for? Uh, uh, the Army Judge Advocate General Corps.
Hmm.
Whatever the fuck that means. Who gives a fuck about JAG? I never watched that shit. Once when I was young and I decided that I was going to be mature now, when you do that when you're young, you're like, now I'm into some adult things. I was like, you know what? I like announced it to my parents and friends, like, guys, my favorite show now is Nash Bridges. So if anyone wants to watch Nash Bridges with me, please, parents, tell me when it's on. I'm still too young to understand how to, figure out a schedule that's not 8 o'clock on Mondays for wrestling. Anything else, no idea when it's on. But if you could just remind me when Nash Bridges is on, because that's the show I'm into. I'm an adult. I understand everything going on in the show, and I actually like it a lot.
I think that show for me that I didn't watch, but I watched my parents watch and thought it was like too adult for, or just mature and
Yeah.
be over my head was Dallas.
Dallas, yeah. My parents and their friends used to talk about Dallas all the fucking time. I never saw a second of it.
Same. I remember the intro. That's about it.
Fucking there was a channel on that's been on it in the work break room, and it plays like the Brady Bunch comes on, and that show is fucking odd, very strange and uncomfortable. I don't like those boys. I don't like looking at their faces. They make me uncomfortable, and knowing that they were all probably fucking and sucking off camera, very uncomfortable. I don't like it.
That I think was part of a block of shows that would come on like Nick at Night or
Oh, babe, I used to watch the shit out of it.
yeah,
And
or like I Dream of Jeannie or
Yep.
Bewitched, I think, was like
Yep.
part of that like block of
These are all Nick at Night mainstays from my
yeah,
childhood. I watched the shit out of them all. That's how like the early stuff I remember bonding with my father over is Nick at Night. Get Smart. Okay. And then it was a big event when because it was like I Love Lucy and all that shit. And then it was like, oh, coming to Nick at Night next month, the Brady Bunch. And I was like, oh shit, the Brady Bunch is coming. And then be like, Monday, it's a Brady Bunch marathon. And I'd watch all this fucking Brady Bunch, and there'd be Brady Bunch commercials and stuff. And it was great. Does that even exist anymore? Because there was like one channel. It was in the morning, Nick Jr.
right.
transitioned to Nickelodeon for teen time. And then at night, Nick at Night. And it was like, great. This is the best channel that ever existed. I'm watching I Love Lucy. I'm watching The Lucy Show, which is Lucy in color. And after she's smoked a lot of cigarettes in her life and her voice sounds very different, but I liked it better because it was in color.
But yeah,
But
like where do those old school shows in syndication reside nowadays?
like MeTV and things like this,
Right.
probably Ion, the former
Hell,
PAX.
yeah, even like the Three Stooges, I feel like would be on one of the stations I would watch as a kid,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
remember catching episodes of that, not quite understanding the humor.
Just I love seeing those guys bonking each other on the
Yeah.
head. It just makes me laugh. It's the best. Um, but yeah. What else is new with you, Tim? Anything? You into these winter sports yet?
Yeah, I mean, I I am more on board with watching the Sixers than I am the Flyers, but I'm still watching the Flyers, but I'm watching the Sixers more.
Uh,
Obviously watching the Eagles
oh yeah.
and yeah, like I think last we talked, I was talking about how I was becoming a little bit like the toxic fan with the Phillies because it was just
You were.
I was
It was
getting too
upsetting.
intense. Yeah,
Yeah. Way too angry.
yeah. With the Eagles, I mean, it helps that they've only lost twice, but in their two losses, I'm not like losing my mind. I don't know. I'm like able to keep it at just enough a distance to not be the toxic guy, but I'm still very invested. I'm still listening to way too many podcasts about all these sports. I love it though, but
Yeah.
I just find it interesting, and I think even just like how the few people that listen to this podcast they enjoy just the camaraderie and just the bullshitting about life. Like
Yeah.
the sports podcasts that I love the most are because of those reasons. Like for Zach Berman and Bo Wolf for the Eagles, the times that they bullshit about just minutia is very funny and like very endearing to me.
I feel like even separate that from just sports podcasts to just every podcast I listen to.
True.
The ones I like the most and the parts like very like it's the people and the camaraderie between them is what brings me in and gets me to stay. The hook of the show or whatever is whatever. But I just like hearing people bullshit and laugh and makes me laugh and makes me feel like I have friends. Um, but yeah, is that the because you recently said you went and watched a Eagles podcast? Was that who you're talking
Oh,
about?
no, that's another one. So that's Jimmy Kemsky and Brandon Lee Gouton. They do a Bleeding
Oh
Green
yeah,
Nation
I
podcast.
recognize those names from Twitter.
Yeah, Jimmy Kemsky's been following the team as a beat writer for a long time. But yeah, they were out at Wrong Crowd Brewing in Westchester, which that is same owners as Sidebar, and that like opened up while Kat and I still lived in Westchester. So they mentioned it on their podcast forever ago, and I was like Thursday night. I don't do shit on my Thursday nights, so
Mm-hmm.
I will be there. It was cool. Like the bartender that was there, Kelly, I know her since I was like 22 years old. She first bartended at Kildare's. with her now. Well, I don't think they're married yet, but her like long-term boyfriend,
Hmm.
Adam, also bartended at Kildare's, and they like left Kildare's to go start Sidebar.
Oh wow.
But anyway, she's like pretty much the owner slash bartender of Wrong Crowd. So it was nice to just have a familiar face, not just to like walk in there completely as a stranger. But yeah, Brandon and Jimmy were there, and then I'd say there was like five-ish other people. No, maybe more than that. More like 10 were there specifically just to hang out with them and bullshit with them about the Eagles. It
Were
was
they
also
doing a show?
no, they didn't record.
Oh, they were just hanging out.
They're just hanging out
That's cool.
because they said they're like we can't hang out on a Sunday to watch an Eagles game because they're working. Like
Yeah.
they have all sorts of shit to do. Like Jimmy is at all the games,
Yeah.
whether they're home or away. But yeah, that Thursday night was when the Cowboys were playing the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. So it was like cool to just like have a hate watch and also just bullshit about football with them.
That was a fun game too, until the Cowboys won. But the
Yes,
Seahawks, they put up a shit ton of points, and
Seahawks really kind of blew it. They probably should have won that
totally,
game. Yeah.
yeah, they almost. I almost lost fantasy football on that day because the dude I was going against had DK,
Mm-hmm.
who put up like 40 fucking points. But I ended up winning and eliminating him from the playoffs.
Oh, like he has no shot for the playoffs because of his record already.
Yeah, he's out.
Okay,
Eliminated from playoff contention.
got
And
it.
if I win this, okay, I'm going to very sorry to all our viewers and listeners. This is the only time I'll ever talk about fantasy sports. But this is my work league. I started the league like 0-5 or something in the basement.
Oof.
Trash. And then I dug myself out and have together a streak that will be written about for the entirety of history if I pull this off. But if I crawled back and fought and just dug my heels in and said I'm fucking making the playoffs, and if I win this week, I will have made the playoffs. And at that point, anything can happen. I can win the
Totally.
championship, but I must win this week. Win and I'm in. And I'm on the doorstep of making history. I was picked to finish dead last after my draft, and
That's always such bullshit.
totally.
It's
And
some like Toyota commercial or
yeah,
something.
yeah. And I started out rough, but I knew I had faith in my team. Made some moves. Some of them worked out, some of them didn't. But here I am. The last 2 weeks, I've eliminated people from playoff contention. Okay, I'm just out here cutting throats. And if I win this week, my opponent is eliminated and I am in. It's very exciting. Very exciting. But nobody gives a fuck about other people's fantasy teams. So, well, I apologize. Let's move on. Have you been going to the movies? Have you been taking advantage of your child-free life?
Yes, but not at the movies. I was kind of talking about this with Keenan. We recorded this week as well, and hell, we even mentioned it on the most recent Tony Scott movie at the end, where I was saying how, and Harrison agreed with me, that this year just doesn't feel like an amazing year for movies. Like Barbie, Oppenheimer happened in the summer, and those were both great. But other than that, like there hasn't been much this year that's really standing out for me. And I'm still checking my app to like see what's in theater. Maybe I'll go burn this Tuesday night on, seeing whatever. And like there's just not much that's been catching my eye.
Well, we had
And
a double strike.
totally.
They were reluctant to put things out because they weren't going to be. I mean, you're not going. They're the actors aren't going to
Promote it.
promote it, but
Because I
that's
guess they're not
over now.
allowed or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, now
yeah,
they are, but
they are now. But I mean, that Godzilla movie is getting rave reviews and it looks fucking good. Are you gonna go see Godzilla minus zero or whatever it's called?
Is that out right now?
It's in theaters, dude.
See, this is I don't know. I think this year I was just like not wowed by a lot of stuff coming out, or at least I was just paying attention to other things, and I feel like that all got pushed back, and that's gonna get dumped on us here in like the spring. Whether it's Dune for
Dune
one,
2.
that was a big one I was excited for.
We're getting a shitter for that shit. We're going to IMAX.
Fuck yes, as you should. But yeah, I mean, I'm still making it out. Like I did see the Marvels, and I was pleasantly surprised as there was just a lot of hubbub about it gonna suck or whatever. And the Marvel universe has been kind of sucking.
Shit.
So
Yeah.
I get it, but I had a fun time. Like if you want to like really pick it apart, you definitely can. It has flaws, but it was overall light and fun and worth my time. And it wasn't long. Yeah. And other than that, like I did see that Flower Moon movie. I know, you know, I bitched about the length of that movie, but overall, like I don't want that to overshadow the fact that I thought it was really freaking good.
I cannot wait till that fucker drops on Apple TV. I'm checking every day.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
wish I
that
could make it out to the theaters, but it's just like, oh shit, you know what? I might go tomorrow. I've got some free time. Anyway, did you shit, what was I gonna say?
about Flower Moon movie or because the only thing I wanted to say further about that was like I did share a podcast. It was like a quick 20-minute podcast, NPR's Pop Culture Happy Hour, I think they call it,
Hmm.
and they had like three Native American people on, and they kind of tore it to shreds as to how factually incorrect it is. And I think it
Mm,
was more coming from the standpoint of not only like them being Native American, but I think they were just disappointed in Scorsese because that's so unlike him to
mm.
do that. So I don't know. I also didn't read the book, so like to me, like I can't really hold that against the movie. I still think it was really really interesting and good. But there are those opinions out there.
Absolutely, it's very tough to do. It's a tough thing to, the argument will always be made. Like, I mean, this is a native story told by an 80-year-old white man.
Yeah.
So it's like that in itself, it's very tough. You know what I mean? Did you see Silence, the Scorsese movie with Andrew Garfield, I think?
No.
Me neither. I tried watching it, but I just hate Christianity. So it's hard for me to watch anything about it.
Oh, this was 2016.
Yeah, and it's one of these things where it didn't like go huge in theaters, but it's one of these Twitter movies where like actually Silence fucking rips. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I Adam Driver. This I didn't
Yeah.
know existed.
Watch it, dude. Watch it.
Okay.
Ferrari, speaking of Adam Driver, driving cars, Ferrari, Michael Mann, Heat. That's fucking exciting. When does that
Yeah.
come out?
I don't know. Like
Jesus Christ.
so I had up.
Napoleon? You didn't see Napoleon?
Isn't that still in theater? That I do
Yeah.
want to see.
That's in theaters.
Okay.
Get your ass out there.
I mean Ridley Scott, Joaquin Phoenix,
Right.
Napoleonic complex. Obviously, I want to see that.
There's rumors that I'm hearing chatter that he shoots the pyramids with cannons or something insane. I don't
I
know.
wouldn't be surprised if that was real. I mean, that he actually did that.
Right.
In history.
I would do it. You know what I mean? Fuck you, Egypt. I'm French. Nah, fuck him.
Oh, and the other movie I actually, I very much looked into going to was the Taylor Swift concert,
Oh,
but
yeah.
but that must have not been part of my like movie pass because it would have
What?
cost $21 to go see that like midday.
I've never seen a concert film in theaters, but it seems like it would be awesome. You
Oh,
know what I mean? With the
I'm
fuck
going this Sunday to see the Renaissance
Beyonce.
Beyonce film. Yeah,
Mhm.
my gang of girlfriends that I am still friends with. We've been talking about it for a while because they're huge Beyonce fans.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll definitely go if you guys do this. So yeah, the one girl Mia, she bought the tickets, and then after the second she bought the tickets, this was just actually yesterday. She was like, "Oh, and by the way, this is my Christmas treat to you. No Venmo needed or blah blah blah." And we were like, "Come
Shit.
on,
Shit.
that was not part of the deal." She's like, "No, this is my treat," and we're like, "All right."
Is that for everyone? God damn.
So it's yeah, four girls, myself. She bought one for Kat because she's off. It's this Sunday.
That's like
I
$120.
know. I was like, no, this is too much. Come on, Mia. And like, I don't think we really buy each other gifts anyway. They might, the four of them, exchange gifts. I'm not sure, but I'm not part of that. Like, I don't know. Now I feel awkward.
Yeah, no, that's super nice though, and I love that she did that, and we wish her the best. But there is a ton of shit coming out that I'm excited about. Maybe it's just because I know that I can't see it, so I'm excited about it. But A24, the Iron Claw movie about the
Oh
Von
yeah,
Erichs, cannot
yep.
wait to see that. Ferrari, like I said, dude, that hold on, let me get the name of it because I know very little about it except that I may have never been more excited for a movie in my life.
While you grab it, like just that Von Erichs movie or whatever, Iron Claw, like
Mhm.
that's Zach Braff, right? Not
No,
Zach Braff,
Zac
Zach
Efron.
Efron,
I would
and
not be excited if it was Brav.
right, that wouldn't make sense. And the dude Carmi from The Bear,
Yeah,
and I forget the other brother, but still, wrestling story. I had no idea what it was about, but it looks
I'm
freaking cool as hell.
I'm very excited for a new audience to learn this story about the Von Erichs
Hmm.
because it is truly because it's so deep in wrestling that like wrestling is such a closed niche that the stories inside wrestling that if you're in the wrestling bubble you know so well they don't escape that bubble, they are in there tight. So this Von Erich story, to those that know that it's like one of the most fucked up stories you'll ever hear in your entire life. So it's I'm interested to see when it escapes. But the movie I was talking about, I tweeted about it today. It's called Love Lies Bleeding. Kiers, Kristen Stewart and Katie O'Brien, the new
Oh
A24
yeah,
movie from Rose Glass. Reclusive gym manager Lou falls hard for Jackie, an ambitious bodybuilder. Their loving night's violence pulling them deep into the web of Lou's criminal family. I'm 100% all in on this shit, and that's all I've seen of it is one still image. But Kristen Stewart, check. Female bodybuilding, check. A24, let's fucking go. Come
yeah.
on.
Kristen Stewart seems to be having the type of career kind of like Daniel Radcliffe, where you make a shitload of money on the like a big old tent pole like franchise, whether
Yes.
it's Harry Potter or fucking Twilight for Kristen Stewart,
Mhm.
and then
Mhm.
afterwards you can just pick and choose whatever freaking title script you want to do because
Yes.
you don't necessarily need the money. You can truly go after passion projects, if you will.
Yeah, and I think she's great.
She is.
And and much like Danny Radcliffe, she's, you know, it's tough for them because some people will always only
Pigeonhole
see
them.
Daniel Radcliffe and call him Harry Potter, as
Yep.
some people will see her and call her Twilight or whatever, Bella maybe.
Yep.
But it's like the work they're doing is great. Dude, did you see the Weird Al movie?
Not yet.
Oh my god, Daniel Radcliffe is so great. It's so fucking funny. But yeah, Kristen Stewart, I think she's great, and she directs too. She directed all the initial Boy Genius music videos, the film that came out. So I'm a huge Kristen Stewart fan. I'm excited for that. That poster for that A24 movie, Civil War. All I saw was that poster that was shared in our group chat today. I'm excited about that.
I forgot she played like Princess Diana in
Yeah.
Spencer.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched that because Com Majors covered it. Yeah, like don't get me wrong, like she's not great in say the Huntsman movie or whatever,
I
but
don't know what
there's
that
plenty
is.
of it was with Thor, Chris Hemsworth. It was like
Oh.
Snow White and the Huntsman, I think is the full name of
Oh.
it.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that.
They're not good movies. She's also not great in them, but there's plenty of other like just little small movies that you probably never heard of that she's in, and she's fucking great. So yeah,
Yeah, there's a sci-fi movie that she was in with TJ Miller who was canceled. So I think it really got swept under the rug, but I never watched it. But the trailer was cool.
yeah,
So check that out, folks. Kristen Stewart, she's more than just Twilight. I mean, Robert Pattinson too, right? He
yeah.
fucking does whatever he wants. God bless him. And he's a fucking hunk. He's Batman. He was Lighthouse,
The Lighthouse. That's the one that
etc.
like really stuck out to me. I was like, well, this is an interesting role.
Yeah. What did you think about that movie? I know Kat hated it.
She loathed it. She really
Yeah.
did. I don't know. I still can't quite really put a synopsis or like a summation on it. I'm like, it's shot very interestingly. Allegedly, it's based on a true story.
What?
My buddy Cam, that was a bartender out in Westchester, he like loves that movie, and he like knows all these like crazy behind the scenes type facts about it. I don't know. It just is. It's not a movie that I'll ever go back to. Whereas like there's
No.
other movies by that same director that I will rewatch, like The Witch,
Yeah.
or even The
Yeah.
Northman. I thought was an
I
interesting.
didn't see that one.
I saw that in theater. It's basically a long-winded revenge story
Hmm.
with a little more kind of Norse mythology in there. It was interesting. I like that more than Lighthouse. Lighthouse, I just don't think I'll
Yeah.
ever return to. Not that I think it's bad. It's just so
No.
bizarre.
Yeah. I was, I think Tammy and I wanted it to be something different than it was, which is on us. That's our fault for going in with certain expectations. And it was totally not that. It very, its own thing, which, God bless.
At times, it got like the level of grossness and also like out of their mind drunk reminded me of like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And that's a movie I'm very not into.
No?
No.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. You've never done drugs in your life.
Yeah, I don't know. It just like I'm like, what is this acid trip I'm watching? Like, I don't know.
The bats in the desert. Toby Maguire's there. It all makes perfect sense if you ever even smoked weed once, which you haven't done. So you don't get it, and that's fine. To each their own, is what I
Yeah,
always say.
I guess most recently in my sickness, I finally watched the new Indiana Jones.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Thank God you brought that up because I had a fucking question about a movie, and it was just like dancing on the end of my fucking synapses, and that was it. I wanted to ask you if you fucking saw it and what you thought of it.
I like the plot, the story being told.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to look past the fact that Harrison Ford is 80 plus years old in this
Mm-hmm.
movie doing the shit he's doing. Like I really tried hard to just blot that out of my brain, but I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't let it happen. Like my own father is now fucking 80. So I
Yeah.
can't I know what like that body is capable of doing.
Right.
And what Harrison Ford was doing, like he would have died in the first like 20 minutes. Like it just and that was my fear even when the trailer dropped. I was like there's a lot of action sequences in this trailer, and Harrison Ford is definitely in them. I just cannot buy it. I was like right off the bat in the very beginning. It's like back in 1939 and Nazi Germany, and here's Harrison Ford, and they de-age his face.
Mm.
That was actually pretty impressive. I didn't notice it being very wonky, but I did think of you because I was like, I don't know if this will even work for Mike though, because like despite how much I think it's great,
Hmm.
I think you would pick it apart.
I don't know. If it's good, you know what I mean. I let it all slide off my back for The Irishman. You know what I'm saying? So the de aging's different than fucking fake cars that don't exist smashing into each other, and it's supposed to be a gigantic set piece where I'm like, whoa, but it's like there's nothing actually happening on the screen.
So
You know what I mean?
that happened a little bit too. Like
Mhm.
during some of the action sequences, I could tell like, all right, this isn't practical.
Yeah. And the first three are such just okay. So you did it. You made the three and they were perfect, right? Then you tried to recapture it with the four, but it was like you forgot, like everything that was magic about the first three
You abandoned.
was gone because it was all fucking fake ants eat like it was the I think it's the second one with the bugs
Yeah.
works because you're looking at a fucking lady covered in real fucking bugs and you can tell that it's happening. The first one with the snakes,
Hmm.
it's all there in the screen. When I see a bunch of fucking CGI ants eat somebody, I'm not seeing anything. Like I'm not affected emotionally in any way. I can't be like, "Ooh, that's gross." It's like this is nothing. This sucks shit.
That scene in Temple of Doom with the bugs,
Oh
like it
god.
still gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like,
Nasty.
but yet there is a scene in the newest one where immediately I was reminiscent of towards the end of Last Crusade when Indy's like fighting the Nazis on that tank,
Yeah.
and it kind of reminded me of that, but it was so like much more heavily CGI, and I was
Yeah.
like, this just isn't as good as that.
No, there's no one on real treads. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
that tank scene is so good.
But like there, like I said, the story being told and kind of like the what Indy coming to closure and like what they're telling with his personal story, I think was a good start and finish.
Hmm.
And also just like the fun, uh, like getting this dial together and like the actual
Yeah.
historical like significance of it was cool and fun, just like
Yeah.
the other movies have like historical significance. And then also I didn't realize that the main chick in it is Fleabag.
Yeah.
Like even
Yeah.
in the trailers, like I saw her plenty of times, she just didn't look like Fleabag in the trailers to me. And then
Hmm.
as like within probably like 10 minutes, I was like, oh,
That's
I know who that is,
Fleabag.
and she's fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it's like worth your time. It's not the
Phoebe
Crystal
Waller
Skull.
Bridge. It's
Thank you.
better than Crystal Skull.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. Crystal Skull sucks so much shit. Here's what I was just a thought that just came into my head regarding um Harrison Ford, right? Because it's like he's 80, you know. He's old,
He's old.
right? Happy he's still doing stuff. God bless him do stuff. But it's like it's kind of a bummer that all he's doing is like Star Wars,
Mm.
Indiana Jones remake. Whereas like Scorsese 80 doing what he wants. It's like I wish Harrison Ford was just doing other movies, you know what I mean? I want him to like fucking okay, this you could jump on my ass because it is a sequel many years down the road. But I mean, Blade Runner fucking rocks. You know what I mean? The new Blade Runner is so fucking good.
So good.
And it's like he's great in it, and the movie's just great. And it's like That's different, completely different to me for whatever reason than the Star Wars sequels or this Indiana Jones sequel. It's like I just want Harrison Ford to make cool movies, you know what I mean? Do a political thriller as an old guy, because he was in so many political thrillers, you know what I mean? And all this shit. It's like, just be a fucking cool old guy in a movie that's not a huge fucking cash grab. Which, I mean, come on.
I guess the only outlier is that show Shrinking, which I hear
Shrinking.
he's it's I think
Oh yeah, it's that guy, of course.
not Jason Sudeikis. It's
No.
Jason Segel.
Jason Segel, yes. Shrinking, comedy drama series, Apple TV, one of the services I do have.
Yeah,
2023 drama, one season.
Cat flew through it and loved it and said he's really great in it. But you're right, like he doesn't just or like a who's Tim Burton's Batman
Keaton.
Keaton. Like he shows up in all sorts of different roles,
Yes.
and even as an old guy. And like I'm blanking on other like old guy like big name actors that just show up in a lot of shit because they're like picking stuff that they're really into.
Yes. And
But
it's always great to see it. Like, it's always great to see Michael Keaton because he's great
yeah,
and he's just in whatever. He's in Birdman. He's in the McDonald's movie. He's in this Batman sequel, right? He still did it,
right.
but he's also got other stuff, Spotlight, you know what I mean, in there,
Totally.
where it just seems like we're just getting these. And
Yeah,
you
Harrison
brought up
Ford just
Shrinking.
only is
And he's one of the
settling-
greats. He's one
Yeah,
of the greats.
exactly,
That's why
exactly.
it's disappointing. It's like, I want to see him in just all kinds of shit. I want to see him in 30 Days and 30 Nights Part 2.
Yeah, I mean even like Tom Cruise now, he kind of is just dialed in to just Mission Impossible.
Mission
and,
Impossible.
And I mean, hey, we got Top Gun as well, which was awesome.
True.
But he's another one who is a really good actor. But I guess like
And it's like, oh my God, I would love, and he won't do it anymore, but I would love to see Tom Cruise be a fucking bad guy in something because he was so good at it. Like, he's so good in Collateral. And
yeah.
he's so good being a dick and an asshole, but he just will not do it anymore. It's disappointing.
And I mean, that's maybe a bad example because he's probably so closed off with his
Insanity.
Scientology, yeah, and his fucking insanity that like he doesn't want to let anybody else into his inner circle, so he only trusts the Mission Impossible people.
It's shrunk down to him, Macquarie, and the Mission Impossible crew that he yells at about, wearing masks.
Right.
Not for safety, but because they could get shut down, by the way. His rant about if you see it again, you're gone. He's never about like, we're protecting people's lives from COVID. It's, you're going to get us in trouble with the insurance, so we're going to get a shut down. You know what I mean? But whatever.
I guess it was refreshing though when we recently watched Spy Game and watching Robert Redford. I was like, this guy's fucking incredible. Like, he's just so good.
Yes. And I feel like Paul Newman as an old guy was better than he was as a young guy, and he was just in all kinds of different shit. You know what I mean? Oh, but it's exciting. We're getting Dune 2.
We are.
We're,
Florence Pugh is showing up.
F. Pugh, we love to see her. But it's, the strikes are over, and now, it's exciting. These are good times. Interesting
the
to
other
see
movie
where
I watched in my sickness was Divergent.
Divergent.
I've always, it was Shailene Woodley, Jai Courtney's
2014.
in it. I forget. Yeah, so like,
oh God, this
Hunger
looks
Games,
bad.
there was kind of, yeah. So like after Hunger Games, there was like this quick little spurt of those like young adult novels, post-apocalyptic, that were based on books that got immediately greenlit into movies. Divergent.
This hit, so it causes the flood.
Exactly. And like Maze Runner was another one.
Yes.
And I've said on Pop Addled plenty of times how I think Divergent, the first one, is pretty good, and the rest, and then it goes downhill from there, and the third one is complete garbage. So I rewatched Divergent because it was available all of a sudden,
Mhm.
and also Unspooled recently covered Hunger Games, so they kind of talked about Divergent and Maze Runner. So I wanted to revisit it uh, on my Comcast. Like the movies, when you just hover over them, it'll give you the Rotten Tomatoes and audience score, and the Rotten Tomatoes was like a 44%.
Oh,
So that even like further piqued my interest because I was like, oh,
I
I remember
got
this
it.
movie
Yeah.
being good. I watched it. It is trash.
No
It's
good.
so bad. It doesn't deserve 44%. It deserves like 10. It's fucking terrible. And that's my quick
Oh,
little rant on Diversion. It's so bad.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it didn't work out for you.
I was just biding time to like sweat out sickness. So
I understand. You got
what
that
else am I doing?
Pax flu,
Seriously, man.
the nerd flu.
I did take a COVID test and it was negative. So I just had general fever like
Yeah, it's the
symptoms.
time of year everyone's getting sick. Everyone's got something.
Kat did say at her restaurant, like everyone's sick right now. So
Yeah, it's fucking flu season.
yeah, which I got to get vaxxed. I keep forgetting to like schedule it. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. uh, anyway, well, anything else that we must talk about?
I don't know if you wanted to talk about the Sixers because I seem to misunderstand your like hating all over them before the Harden trade.
No, Joel Embiid put up 50 points last night in a big win, and they look good. They look like a team. They're very fun to watch. Nick Nurse is an actual coach that has them running plays. You know what I mean? It's like, as I was down in the dumps before the season started because I just didn't see it working out. I mean, I was excited. I was slightly excited because I was glad Doc Rivers was gone. I thought he was one part of the problem and he had to go. Thankful he's out. And then we just had Harden, and it was like I just can't, like, I want to, like, I love the Sixers, but it's like I can't go all in because I know it's not going to work. But then Maury made the trade, got rid of PJ Tucker, which is a very underrated part of that trade because I don't know if you saw his last 10 games, but he's put up 0 points in all of them. He is washed. Now, he deserves the blame for the signing, of course, right? Was that him? Or was that right before he got here? But either way, he's out from under Harden, which was his fault. Out from under PJ Tucker. Brought in pieces to complement the team, to add to the team, and to have an actual team. And they're being coached like a team. They're fucking making these passes all the time that you would never see.
A lot of motion.
Just like move, bing, bang, boom. Oh, the opposing defense goes into a zone coverage. Oh wow, here's a play we wrote up to combat that. It's not just uh, go out and figure it out like it was under Doc. It's so refreshing, and I love it. And I love the team. I'm very excited, and it's almost like, are they going to make a trade at the deadline? It's like they're playing so well. You don't want to disrupt it too much, but there's definitely things they could do. But I love the Sixers. I love Joel Embiid. And it's like, fucking a great thing is that he's putting up huge numbers and he's skipping a lot of fourth quarters. You know what I mean? He's saving his body.
Last night should have been one of them where he skips the fourth quarter.
The
Like the team,
Wizards suck. They should have
yeah,
fucking blown him out by a million,
yes,
but whatever. They needed him and he put up 50 and
yep.
God bless. But it's like those will happen every now and then. But it's like yeah, we got to get him into the playoffs healthy. and a playoff run at full health, which he's never had. You know what I mean? It's like get him there healthy. Maxi emerging as a superstar. God bless. Fucking, you know, Kelly Oubre, Nick Batum. Who knew? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like
Batum's fitting in perfectly.
fuck. It's like god damn. It's like, you know, I think to me, you don't need to make a huge trade, right? I think Maxi is a fucking star. So you got two stars. Good. The rest are complementary pieces. And if they're playing fucking great, keep it. If you could trade Tobias for more bench depth, God bless, do it. But you know what I mean? It's like keep this synergy, keep this energy and this chemistry
Vibe. Yeah.
together. The vibe. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Keep Joel healthy.
So, I mean, Joel has gotten hurt in the playoffs recently, though, too. So it's like,
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know.
it's like it's like he fucking gets his face broken. It's like
Or
all
his thumb got caught like
yeah,
that one, or maybe that was
freak
the same
shit.
year.
Freak
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I hear you about the regular season. You
Mhm.
do want to manage his minutes and try to get him there as healthy as possible. And then freak shit happens sometimes in playoffs. You
Right.
can, yeah, it's
Can't
sports.
avoid it. It's not his
But
fault.
But yeah, and I think like maybe our biggest disagreement before the Harden trade was, and I don't think I made this clear, was I felt like you were really hard on the front office. And at that point, like the sky was kind of falling because like Drew Holiday just got acquired by the Celtics and
And the Sixers weren't doing nothing.
yeah, Dame Lillard goes to the fucking
Yeah.
Bucks, and the Sixers are just holding their dicks with a Harden who doesn't want to play with them. So I got like your frustration, but I was like, you know, you were harping on the ownership like very, very harshly, and it's warranted at that time in place. But I was like, my mindset was like, I thought ownership so far did put good enough teams on the court to fucking win a championship. And that's as far as ownership can do or like go. Like at some point, like the players do have to execute and fucking come through. Like that year that they had Jimmy Butler, they were probably good enough. Even last year, they were probably good enough. They had the Celtics up 3-2, Game 6 coming home to Philly. Like that is called pooping the sheets. That is the 2022 Phillies. Like at some point, your coach and your front office can only do so much. Like the players have to come through, and I think that was our biggest disagreement that I don't think I made clear at the time. But also in the back of my mind, I was like, I know it's all doom and gloom with the Sixers for rightful reasons, but they still have Embiid, the reigning MVP. They still have Maxey, who's like an up and coming player. Like I still thought, I was like, they have pieces. Like they still are a good team.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. I agree. But it was like this season came at the end of a long line of misplays by whoever's making decisions in terms of that Jimmy Butler team. I mean, not keeping Jimmy Butler in hindsight, huge mistake. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you get all these years with Jimmy and Joel,
And they liked each other
right,
a lot.
right,
And Jimmy's fucking awesome.
the most clutch player maybe ever. Him and Joel, he dragged those Heat teams deep into the playoffs with nobody. Could you
just
imagine
last
him
year.
with fucking
Just last year he did
Joel?
it.
Unbelievable. You know, that's a misstep. You know, it's like the thing about Hinkie, right, is that he was able to read shit so early. Like Michael Carter Williams. Remember when he traded him?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, what the fuck are you doing? He could read that shit. And it was like, if he was here, I think he could have read the situation and been like, I make tough decisions. We're keeping Jimmy. And it's like, I know we spent this fucking high ass pick on Ben Simmons, but I think, you know,
He might have seen that train wreck coming
yes,
earlier. Yeah.
yes. And
'Cause I think-
it would have been like, you know, Okay, so that's a decision that they made that backfire.
Because also, I think that was a big part of why like Jimmy went,
I
if
think
I'm not mistaken.
100% that was it. You
Yeah.
know,
Keep talking. I'm
afterwards,
just
like,
getting another beer.
yeah, like afterwards, like, you know, when he came back to town, he was like, "You chose Tobias Harris over me," and it never really read like that to me. It always read as they chose Ben Simmons, and Ben didn't want Jimmy
Yeah.
around because Jimmy was hard on him, and they were trying so hard to make that Ben Simmons pick work for so many years, and it was like misstep after misstep. Hiring Doc Rivers, misstep, and it was like huge
and
contract.
and also since Hinkie, like the ownership has not ownership, the GM,
Yeah.
has changed numerous times, and that's very weird for really any sports franchise for that position to change as frequently as it did for the Sixers. Continue.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, and that I think all is comes down from the top, and it's like when I'm at this season, before the season, we still have this disaster. I mean, we're going into a disaster. Like if the season starts and Harden is still, if that plays out till the fucking All-Star break, you know what I mean? It's like just this fucking black cloud over the team of a way past his prime star, doesn't want to play on the team. And every day we got to hear like, oh, he practiced with the team today. He didn't practice. He's on the team playing. All this drama
Yep.
sucks. And it was like at that point, after being with the ownership group, and I mean, still fuck Josh Harris. I think he fucking sucks. Sell the Sixers, go own the fucking Devils and the fucking Commanders. Like
Dork.
fuck you if you couldn't own any worse teams that I hate more than the fucking Commanders and the fucking Devils. You're a piece of shit. But anyway, it's like I was just beaten down and had no faith after, going from as a young man, Iverson, into the dark ages of middling 8 seed basketball to, okay, we're gonna fucking
Blow it
rip it
up.
down to the studs. And I was like,
Full tank
on
mode.
board, gotta do it.
Dude, I even watched a lot of those like tanking years.
I had fucking like a 6-game plan or something during some of those, you know what I mean? I was like going to games and stuff while they were just getting the fucking doors blown off by the Atlanta fucking Hawks, and it was over before the second quarter started. You know what I mean?
Watching Ish Smith out there and stuff.
Right. Oh my god. I mean, they had a fucking full like I forget who it was, not Ish Smith, but it was like they did not have a point guard for half the season. Then they got that one point guard who's been on 100 teams, and there was like a second
TJ
time.
McConnell.
Oh man. But anyway, it was just like I had no faith that anything good was going to happen because just a long line of fuck ups. And then I was proven wrong, which I'm happy to be, because they did this right, and right now it's a ton of fun to watch.
And it's so obvious they're drinking Nick Nurse's Kool-Aid. They're bought in.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he's preaching to them, they've received the message. Because like you're saying, it is like night and day what they're doing out there on the floor compared to Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
I also didn't like hearing you and Brian like, look, what Harden's doing is selfish and delusional. He clearly thinks he's 2018 Harden, and he's not. Like that's like a separate conversation, but what happened last year with Harden on the floor was still impressive. He was the not focal point, but he was the quarterback of an offense that was like top 5. If I want to say they were like top 2 in the league. So like he's still very good at the game. I just think he thinks he can still drive the basket, and he can't. He just has lost a step. Like
so, like the big issue is like how, I don't want to say they don't matter, but it's like the regular season almost doesn't matter in the NBA. And in the regular season, I think he might have led the league in assists. He was a distributor.
I think he did.
He you know what I mean? Which is what you wanted. We wanted a fucking point. You know what I mean? It's
And he
like, do
probably
this
very much contributed to Embiid winning the
for
MVP.
sure,
So, yeah.
without a doubt, without a doubt. But the problem was once the playoffs started, the game gets called differently, and he played differently. He was, like you said, he was trying to drive the basket and do that thing where he just draws a million fouls, but it doesn't work in the playoffs. It's never worked for him in the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's like you get less calls in the playoffs on, you know, the type of shit that he gets a million calls for in the has always gotten in the regular season. And it was just, whatever it was, he just was not hitting the huge shots that he needed to hit. You know what I mean? And it was very frustrating. And that also goes back to coaching. Doc Rivers sucks.
Well, I will give him that, though. Like, from the one Sixers podcast I listened to, I think he and Harden butted heads a lot because Doc kept trying to tell him, like, not to do the shit we're complaining about right now and be like, no, no, no. You got to be the facilitator, bro. You're no longer good at this other shit, you know?
And of course, like, just the ridiculous comments of I'm not a system player.
I am the system.
What? You're just not doing yourselves any favors, bro.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like, he's like just not, he's not looking himself in the mirror and coming back to reality.
Right.
It's like, come on, man. Like,
dude, you could be a outstanding player. You could lead the league in assists. You could be a fucking top tier point guard.
you have to
just
adapt.
change your game, but
Yeah.
he's just not the type of player that could do that, and it's tough. And it's like I felt like when the Clippers got him, I felt bad for Clippers fans because they were excited, but it was almost like we convinced the Clippers fans to watch the ring tape and like pass the curse off to them. You know what I mean? It's like I had to get someone else to watch it, and I did. See ya. Sorry about your luck. You got 7 days until a TV lady kills you or something like that happens in the movie. I don't remember exactly.
I forget her name too.
I think it was 7 days.
Yeah, I mean the name of the girl.
That's 7 days. I think.
Wasn't it like Samara or something?
I have no idea. No clue. But I mean, they're fun. It's a fun team.
For sure.
Fun team. Fun to watch. Putting up fucking. I mean, what was this? They only played 4 quarters yesterday, right? And it was like 131 to 125.
Yeah.
Basketball's insane.
And this is a few games ago, but the beatdown they put on the Lakers was so enjoyable.
Oh, that was so good. That was so good. And it's like, this team is different because in the past, in the Doc Rivers era, that fucking team's coming back and they're either going to lose or they're going to be Joel Embiid is going to have to play fucking hard minutes in the fourth quarter of every game. They get him huge. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, he's putting up 30 and doesn't play a minute in the fourth quarter. You couldn't ask for anything more. You love it. You love it. You love it. You love it. You love it.
Yeah, that game, I might have texted you guys, or maybe it was just my dad. That Lakers game, they were like 13 for 26 from 3 at the half.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a full game's worth of 3-pointers.
Going nuts, dude.
Yeah.
You'll fucking love to see it. We love basketball. We love hockey. We love arena football. And we love the wings.
So that's another one. I do want to try to meet up with the one Sixers podcast I listened to, just because, like, when I hung out with Jimmy Kempski and Brandon Lee Gouton, like, I would ask them dorky questions like, why do you think there's no fullbacks in the league anymore? You know?
Oh, yeah.
And I know that was like right before they were about to play the Niners, who very much utilize a fullback, but they're kind of obsolete nowadays. Like, why is that? You know, just certain things about like the in the weeds sports stuff that I don't really know. Like, please tell me, enlighten me. Like with basketball, or specifically with that podcast, they're always using jargon. Like, yeah, on this play, they tried to close out and then they ran this. I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Can you dumb it down for me, please, a little bit?
Yeah, it's tough. I get that.
Anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to extend the podcast longer. That was just my last little thought about
I love the podcast. It could go on forever.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, we do have to run. I have to go to sleep. I've
You
got
look
work
great. That's
in
a
the
great
morning.
jacket.
Thanks. It just came in the mail today. I decided I need a sports coat. You know what I mean? If I'm wearing a black t-shirt and jeans, I got to throw on a sports coat because I'm Michael Keaton's age now.
I will say I did see your tweet the other day about how exercising or working out like immediately makes you feel amazing.
Brother. So I took like 5 months off just because I had a baby. You know what I mean? And I couldn't make it out. But I go to the gym, right? I do my usual treadmill warm up. And also, I recently jogged on the treadmill and I'm a lot heavier than the last time I jogged. It felt dangerous and scary. I got to hit that elliptical till I lose some weight. But anyway, I go over, I got a little sweat going, and then I go to the fucking lat pull downs. First weight exercise I do. And I'm fucking banging it out. And then, like, first set, I do the first set, and I fucking immediately I stand up, and I'm like, instantly stand up super straight, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah! Like I was like right away was like, oh yeah, I remember this, and it was like instantly felt better after one fucking set.
For the past few weeks, I've been in a little bit of a rut where it's like I think it's also just perfectly coinciding with the fact that it's daylight savings, so it gets dark at like 4.
Very tough.
So when I'm done work at 7, it's been dark for some time now.
Yeah.
I clock out. I like just take all of my equipment out of my work computer, immediately plug it into my personal computer and start playing like video games and eat something eventually and then go to bed. And like it's just been a shitty rut for the past few weeks, and like then I got sick. But during my sickness, I was like, all right, this is a good reset. So I saw your tweet. It all kind of came together where I'm like, all right, I need to go hit that weight bench that's just a room over.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
What am I doing with myself?
Yes. And it's annoying because you do hear that shit all the time. Like, working out is good for your body, but it's better for your brain. And you're always like, yeah. And then you do it, and you're like, fuck. They're right. The truth. Shit.
Yeah.
But no, it feels good to be back in the gym and hitting the fucking weights. You know what I mean?
Getting
I love
swole.
it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I can't fucking be some fucking fat fuck. My kid's about to start crawling. Days away. We're days away from him being mobile. Am I going to be a fucking fat dad chasing him around like gasping for air? No, that's not going to be me. I'm going to be the fucking in shape dad.
Or he's going to work you out real quick and you're going to lose some weight.
Yeah. I'm going to be the dad that pops the shirt off at the playground and all the moms faint.
Clearly.
Capeshe. Anyway, everyone get out there. Just fucking get a sweat going. Just do fucking 25 air squats in your room right now. You know what I mean? You'll fucking feel better. Your heart will start pumping and you'll be like, oh, I am alive. You know what I mean? I'm not just a fucking avatar. I'm a human being, and the blood pumps through my veins, and I'm here for a reason. And that reason is to get fucking jacked and cut.
The other minor thing that just kind of has me motivated is like on my lunch break, it usually comes late because I'm like the last person on my team to start.
Yeah.
So it doesn't come until like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So I usually just make something quietly, eat it before then. Yeah. So then I use my lunch break. I just go walk around, around my area.
Very nice.
And honestly, just breathing fresh air, getting a little bit of sunlight, and listening to a podcast or something is just nice.
Especially this time of year, if you get out in that sunlight, because it's fleeting. And it's fucking 2023, so it doesn't get that cold anymore. So you can go walk around all year round. It's not a big deal.
Totally.
Yeah. Love it, bud. I'm glad to see you. Thank you. We tried to schedule this for a while, but you're just so busy with all your fucking packs and all this shit.
I'm a very important person, man.
You got a lot going on. You're taking advantage of your childless freedom, and I support that 100%. I try to tell these kids, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. There's no reason to not do whatever you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pay your
clearly.
fucking rent or your mortgage. And other than that, do whatever the fuck you want. Make sure your electricity's paid. But there's nothing holding you back. Hey, a band I like's playing in Buffalo. Get in the fucking car.
I'm going. Let's do it.
Fuck it. Anyway, Tim, I've had to pee for an hour and a half. So I have to go because I'm about to rupture my fucking bladder. But I want to say thank you to you, Tim. I want to say everyone to listen to Pop Addled, of course.
Yes, I always forget to plug that on here. Sorry. My podcast is Pop Addled. Go ahead.
Check it out. It's a great show. Very much our sister program. A lot of great stuff on there. New episode in the coming days, I'm assuming.
Yeah, just me and Keenan riffing about mainly PAX.
PAX!
But talking a little bit about just upcoming movies and stuff like we've already talked about tonight. And, Keenan, I think, uses it more to, like, speak to me to get, like, shit off of his chest that he has no one to talk to about besides also his newborn child who cannot receive the information.
Nope, they are bad listeners. Well, we love them and they're cute. So yeah, check that out. We of course have a Doom Addled very recently in the feed for Spy Game.
Yep.
And I'm sure we have another one coming up for
I forget what we're doing next.
Forget. Anyway,
I'll leave that up to Keenan.
It's always fun, so check it out. Fucking follow all the social media, all that bullshit. Anyway, have a great week. Have a great month. It's December. Try to, keep your fucking stress in check. Don't fucking put too much fucking pressure on yourself. Who gives a fuck? If you're an adult and other adults are pressuring you to buy them things, have a conversation with them about how they're not a child. How they should reevaluate how they're living their lives. You know what I mean? We'll get presents for kids. I'm not going to get you something. You know what I mean?
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Fuck off. But anyway, love you. Wish you the best. I'll see you, Tim.
Later, Mike.
Bye.
Fuck Dallas.
Fuck Dallas. The Cowboys suck.